This Kemi Badenoch always find a way to demarket Nigeria, as if doing it to the white men always makes her happy, or it is what makes her gain ground in the UK. We don't know the reason why. Sometimes Kemi, always cries like a child who is crying for, something and they've not given it to her. Let's listen to her and then I'll come back to analyze this.
I went to a secondary school. It was called a federal government girls' school in a place called Shagamu. And that was like being in prison. When I tell the stories about using a machete and having, because there are no lawnmowers, that's the place that I'm talking about, having to fetch buckets of water. And that was the first time that I was away from home, away from my family. And I wasn't just looking at...
This is a boarding school?
Yes, it's a federal boarding school. And it was very...
You shared a dormitory with other girls?
We're about 150, I think. 20 to 30 in a room, and there were, 6 rooms.
And
so
the machete is for cutting the grass?
Yes, cutting the grass.
Explain why were you cutting the grass?
Well, because, who else is going to cut the grass? It's just, it's the
grass grows and you have machetes to cut it.
Exactly. They're not, this is a federal school where this is the old grammar school system sort of fading out, and everyone who passed an exam and got a certain score got to go to a federal school, and this was more socialism. So they sprinkled people around. They didn't want one school getting all the best results. They would mix people about. So you could end up getting sent thousands of miles away to a boarding school, at the extreme end of the country. So I was lucky. I didn't get sent too far away, but I was very far from home. I'd never been away from home before. And it was like Lord of the Flies. The students were in control. We needed to look after the school ground. So using a machete, having to clean toilets with no running water. I'm not going to go into the description of that, but
Now, let's ask Kemi, what did Nigeria actually do to her? Because I always believe that if you're a product of Nigeria, no matter where you go to, you shouldn't be demarketing Nigeria the way you do. Because Kemi cannot stay a week without mentioning Nigeria in a toxic way before the white men. Because you are a member of the parliament doesn't mean that every moment you seek to demarket your own country, you talk about your own country to gain favor from the whites. I don't know, but it looks so childish. It looks like Kemi is looking for attention and she's looking for acceptance. So she feels like when she demarkets her own country, it will make the white men to accept her. Madam, whether you like it or not, if you like it, even go and buy bleaching cream. You can never be like the whites. Now, there are so many other persons from different countries who are in that same parliament. There are Indians there, and people know they are Indians, they are Pakistans, but you will never see these people say bad things about their countries. Why Nigeria? Why? There are people, even the former president of one of the former presidents of the US, okay, of America, Barack Obama, was from Kenya, but you will never ever see him demarket Kenya the way Kemi is demarketing Nigeria. If Kemi become, maybe, like, let's say, what if she's like a president now? What will she say? If you are just a common member of parliament and you're already demarketing your country like this, Kemi talks as if she hates Nigeria. Now my problem is, she talking about how she went to federal government girls college in Shagamu, how they told them to cut grasses with cutlass. We are Africans, for goodness sake. And Kemi has even also forgotten that this same cutting of grass pattern was introduced to Nigeria by the colonial masters. Yes, these same British men that you are trying so much to be attached to, you are trying so much to make them accept you. Have you forgotten that they are the ones that introduced slavery into Africa? They are the ones that were allowing people to, like, cut grasses, all those things. Kemi forgets so soon how all these things were even introduced to Africa. How a white man will sit down and call blacks, to carry him. How a white man will sit down and call blacks that they call slaves to actually clear their compounds and all that. Even before schools were introduced by these colonial masters, they were the ones that introduced us, the blacks, to be cutting grasses. Now, it's those same men now you are talking to. It is same them you are complaining to, how it was like a prison for you while you were in school in Nigeria. Remember, we are Africans. Remember that even our roots from the beginning, before we knew how to even have water systems, actually we go to river Okay, like we go to, maybe your community is having a river in a very far distance. That is where people get clay pots and go to fetch water. So you fetching water in your school years ago, Kemi, for goodness sake, as in, like, how is that bad? Like, you fetched water, so for the fact that you fetched water with a bucket, that's what you're coming to tell a white man in 2025, as if the thing still happens now. And if at all it even still happen, it's because, as like, Kemi, can you just please leave Nigerian out of your drama in the UK? Because it's as if Kemi does not demarket Nigeria for white men, she doesn't have peace. And if she was even demarketing this Nigeria to maybe a Nigerian, maybe to one of our leaders, saying that this thing should change because she didn't like it, telling her to cut grasses, the leader should, get cleaners to be cutting grasses, we will even understand that, okay, she's, providing solution. But this one, you are saying this thing to a white man that doesn't care about your country, and the person have every right to just laugh at you and laugh at your country. You're not providing any solution, rather you are mocking your country. See, when I see people try to mock Nigeria so much, a country that made them, I always shake my head. And if you continue to even say bad things about your country, that means you yourself, you will not grow. Your family will not grow. Your aunts, your this thing, your offsprings, they will not grow well. Because it's like you are totally always calling the country bad, even when there are good things about the country. The thing is that Kemi will never say anything good about Nigeria, even when there are few good things about the country. Let me forget so much that if you look at this same British dating people that she's hyping so much, the kind of practices that they practice in their schools, in their secondary schools, are practices that we will prefer to fetch water and cut grasses instead of our children to practice the kind of things that those people practice over there in the US, UK, Canada. I will not want my children to behave like that. Rather, let my child know how to cut grass, seriously, instead of knowing how to do those kind of things. A child that you cannot talk to, a child you cannot tell what to do. The kind of funny things they do, things that I wouldn't even want to mention here. And you people already know. Tomorrow they can tell a child to say, identify as a cat, and the child will come and tell his mother, I want to be a cat. From now henceforth, my name is a cat. I'm a cat. I want to start doing meow. So many things. And Kemi will not see wrong with those ones. So, and those people, they accept those their belief and they love it. And nobody is saying anything bad. But you, Kemi, because you cut grass, you use a machete to cut grass years ago, over 20, 30 years ago. All of a sudden, your country is now bad. You said it, you felt like it was a prison. Like, come on now. Can't you say good things about your country for once? Can't you say good things about that your school for once? And you becoming a person now in the UK like this, what have you done to change certain things in that Shagamu? In that your school in Shagamu? Have you sent money there to paint the classrooms? Have you bought wall clocks in the classroom? Have you tried to do water system in the classroom before you came here to complain? Have you? Seriously, talking about Kemi pisses me off a lot of times. And if I go on and on and on and on, this video will just be extremely too long. And I wouldn't want to do that because I don't know why Kemi will never say anything good about Nigeria. And she will never even prefer solution. Even the reason why she hates immigrants is because of Nigeria. That's why she hates immigrants. For the fact that, Nigerians are finding their way to the UK, Kemi just is making things so difficult for immigrants. Why? And you were once an immigrant too now. Were you not an immigrant before you became a citizen of the UK? Eh? You were once an immigrant, so what's all this? Sister Kemi, we love you. Please try to love us back as Nigerians.